Why the heck are we here? I mean, really, why are we here? And I don't mean why are we here at TEDx today, in Malibu, on a Sunday morning. That's not what I'm talking about. Like, why the heck are we here on this earth going around the sun? Why are we here? Well, isn't that the question that has been plaguing mankind since we've been able to string thoughts together? Like, why are we here? Well, the good news, I think I've got the answer for you today. I think that our deepest desire is to do good. I think that our sole desire is to really make a positive impact. I think our natural instinct, of course, is to want more. I think it was that instinct that 25 years ago drove me to California after spending a bunch of years on Special Forces A teams to come to California with the desire of being the youngest U.S. Senator from California. That was my desire. Now, life and circumstances have gotten in the way. That desire has now died. But I want to share with you something, though. My first job out of the military was as a night auditor at a little no-tell motel in the Tenderloin in San Francisco. My job was to go in at 11 o'clock at night, close out the books, count the cash, check people in, check people out. But really, my primary function, because I was much bigger and more intimidating than I am now, was to keep the peace among the drug dealers and the pimps and the prostitutes. And that was half the staff at the hotel. And I'm serious. One of the guys that relieved me in the morning at 7 o'clock in the morning, his name is Gino, and he was a pimp on parole. His wife was our executive housekeeper and was part of his stable. I went in at 11 o'clock at night one night, walked behind the front desk, and the guy that I was supposed to be relieving was sprawled out on the floor. He had overdosed. He was our resident heroin dealer. It was a cast of characters. Thank goodness, though, that didn't last forever. An investment group came in, looked at the hotel, and decided they want to buy this thing. I thought, wow, there's going to be some changes here. They knew what they were getting into. They knew where this hotel was located, at the border of the Tenderloin and the Civic Center in the shadow of the Federal Building, where people would come have their little afternoon delights. They knew what they were getting into. They knew the clientele. They knew the ragtag team of staff that was there. But the beauty of this is they could see the potential in this little rough stone. They could see the potential. They knew that they could make this thing into something more. They knew that through a rehab and a renovation, they could make this something more. The late, great Jim Rohn is famous for saying, if you want to have more, you must become more. Right? If you want to have more, you must become more. Sometimes we need to go through our own personal renovation, our own personal rehab. Now, I don't compare myself to Jim Rohn, but the living loser, Larry Broughton, puts it this way. If you want to do great things, you've got to be a great person. If you want to do great things, you've got to be a great person. Bottom line, have you ever had people in your life who are highly motivated, type A, hard chargers who push and shove their way to the front of the line, but they lack integrity? You want to follow those type of people into battle? Most people don't. The truth is, those people may have flash in the pan, short-term success, but rarely do they ever experience what I call enduring significance. Because motivation without integrity is dangerous. Now, why is it then that we don't take the leap towards greatness more often? Have you ever stood at the edge of a cliff or at the top of a building and you look down? It's scary, right? I mean, if you fall, if you make one misstep, it could be painful, right? Most of us understand where we are in life. Most of us get that. But very few of us have ever been able to see our fullest potential. Few of us even get a glimpse of what our potential is. Potential, I believe, is one of God's greatest gifts. It's like a gift, right? Many of us get this package, we take the wrapping off the package, but we never open the box to see what's inside. But it's one of the saddest gifts as well. If you think about all the graveyards around the world that's filled with unmet potential, it's heartbreaking. How would the world be different if every day we put one dusty, bloody boot in front of the other to reach our potential? The problem is this: we get stuck with inactivity on this side of the cliff. And when we do that, this is where we find regret. This is where we find anxiety. Right? This is where we find longing and disappointment and disillusionment. And on our worst days, this is what we call failure. Oftentimes we have choirs of friends and family members telling us that we're failures, or stay on the safe side of the street. Don't go in the deep waters. It's scary out there. But I want us to change this mentality a little bit. Shift the paradigm just 10 degrees. Do me a favor, think back when you're just learning how to ride a bike. You get on the bike, put one pedal in front of the other, right? Mom and Dad were standing in the background. And if you were like me, it didn't take long before I crashed into the car, right, or into the bushes or a lamppost. I don't recall Mom and Dad, or ever seen this really, where the parent runs over to the kid, picks him up, looks him in the face and says, "You suck. You are a failure. Get back in the house where it's safe, sit on the sofa and watch SpongeBob SquarePants." No, that doesn't happen, right? What do? They pick him up, some little words of encouragement. Here's what you did right. Here's what you did wrong. And here's how you can improve the next time. In Special Forces, every time we come back out of the field, back from a mission, we do one thing. Smoke a cigar. That's not it. It's really the second thing. We do an AAR, an after-action review. What did we do right? What did we do wrong? And how can we improve the next time? We didn't place blame. This is an opportunity for learning. This is where we learn. I'm a big believer, once we take that step off the cliff and we start learning, that's where success is. Success lies in that gap between where we are and our fullest potential. It's when we strive for success, it's when we strive and pursue excellence in that little area of our life, in that area of business, career, relationship. When we're pursuing excellence, that's where we find joy. Right? That's where we find happiness. That's where we find fulfillment and satisfaction and significance. This is what the Greeks call arete, the pursuit of excellence in everything that we do. Can you imagine that? Living your life where you're pursuing excellence in everything we do. The truth is this, though. Pursuing excellence, I'm not talking about perfection. Forget about perfection. Perfection is unachievable, it's unattainable. But pursuing excellence in everything we do, it ain't easy. It's hard. It's heartbreaking sometimes. One of my favorite Roman emperors and philosophers is Marcus Aurelius. One day he had a crowd of subjects out in front of him, and he said this, "Folks, it ain't easy. Life is hard. But the art of life is more like wrestling than dancing. Sometimes you're going to get an elbow in the face. Sometimes you're going to get a knee in the groin. Sometimes you're going to get a broken arm. It's going to hurt sometimes. But the reward is awesome. Sometimes you're going to fall down. Sometimes you're going to screw up. But sometimes what we call failure is really just that necessary struggle called learning. Failure hurts sometimes. Not enough of us people talk about failure. It gets scary out there. I want to share this with you. That we have a choice to curl up in the fetal position and cry and lick our wounds for 3 years every time we make a mistake and have a bad attitude, or we can have a positive attitude, get up, brush ourselves off, and ask ourselves, what did we do right? What did we do wrong? And how can we improve the next time? Now, this positive attitude is not going to guarantee victory, okay? But a bad one is absolutely going to guarantee defeat. And frankly, we learn more from our defeats and our failures than we do from our victories and from our successes. My goal is this. I want us to talk more about failure. I want to make failure cool and hip. And I want to remind you that failure is not just for losers anymore. So thank you very much. God bless you.